It's almost that time of the college football season as we are just 1 week away from the very first unveiling of the college football playoff rankings. But luckily, we don't need to wait 1 week for the committee to tell us who's in, who's out, and who's ranked where. We can ask our very own Chat CFP for some answers. Chat CFP, the Indiana Hoosiers continue to roll through the Big Ten like a hot knife through butter after beating UCLA by 50 points. The question that I have is, can the Hoosiers sneak in to the #1 spot when the first college football playoff rankings are revealed? The Hoosiers won their 14th straight home game on Saturday. Okay, good info. But the Buckeyes are a lock to take the top spot no matter what. It's almost like it's Chat Beanie Wells instead of Chat CF. Feels like you rigged the system, Beanie.
Maybe just a little bit. No, but I mean, when you look at, obviously, Indiana, I personally believe they have the best offense in the country. I think if they go out and continue to win in the fashion in which they're winning so dominantly, especially on the offensive end, they probably should take that next step over Ohio State and get the #1 spot. The Buckeyes have been great. They have the best defense in the country. But on the offensive end, I think that's where the question mark looms for Ohio State. If they can get it done in a tough matchup due to their offense. We've seen Indiana get it done on both sides of the ball in tough matchups this year.
It matters how you play when you win or lose the games that you play. Ohio State simply has not lost. They are unblemished, as Indiana is, but where you start and our perception of who you are and where you are, that can change as the season goes along, which is why I'm glad you said if Indiana comes and wins in dominant fashion, or if the Buckeyes aren't quite as impressive, maybe it can give way. But as an AP voter, I'm really wary to move someone down when they haven't lost a football game, when they're playing that dominant, especially Ohio State, because, man, I just love that Buckeye defense.
Yeah, you do. Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue remain in the Indiana schedule. That looks pretty nice. There's a lot of really good teams that would like to have that schedule the rest of the way. By the way, Kevin, since you mentioned you have a vote, you are going to leave Ohio State #1. Can you say that to us officially?
I am saying that to you officially. I will go home and submit my rankings before tomorrow morning's deadline, and yes.
I got the knife to a side.
Exactly.
Yes. It's under duress.
Hold him hostage over there. Okay. Unlike the Hoosiers, the Oklahoma Sooners hit a speed bump in the form of Ole Miss on Saturday as John Mateer and company lost for the second time in 3 games. Chat CFP. Will the Sooners find themselves on the outside looking in when the CFP rankings come out? Boomer Sooners college football playoff life exploded on Saturday, launching their championship dreams to smithereens. Chad CFP's pretty aggressive, Kevin, with that.
I have to agree, because I think this was the beginning of a long, hard stint to finish the season for any of the top teams in the SEC. And with a bullseye on your back, getting everyone's best shot, I thought this was the day that Oklahoma would have to establish their dominance. This is the day they'd have to go out and beat someone of this caliber, put that #1 defense in the country on display, and show that you belong by beating Trinidad Chambliss and the quarterback whisperer Lane Kiffin, who's been doing the impossible, just, beating everyone in their path, well, except for the Georgia Bulldogs. But I just didn't see any way they could get around without starting this long, what was it? Texas, Tennessee.
It was a brutal gauntlet.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet to finish the season. I mean, you've got Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. Yeah, I mean, this is too tall of an order if you don't start off the right way. You've got 4 games down the stretch. I think 10-2 gets you in the SEC into the college football playoff. But man, you're going to have to wait your turn in those head-to-head matchups, those losses. They matter, because I think there's going to be more than a couple of teams that end up 10-2.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm right there with you, KC. When you look at Oklahoma as a whole, obviously them losing John Mateer for that brief moment that he had the finger surgery, they've been out of sync on the offense ever since. Ever since he's gotten back, they hadn't bounced back like the team that we saw to start the season. On defense, they've been great, but they're not scoring enough points on a consistent basis. And when you got to go through a gauntlet like they have to, you're going to have to score and score consistently. And right now, they're just not able to do it offensively. So, yeah, they'll probably be on the outside looking in.
Okay, unlike Oklahoma, another team in the SEC is feeling pretty good after a huge win Saturday against the Tigers of Missouri. That would be Vandy. Chat CFP, how do the Commodores' win against Mizzou help their college football playoff chances? Vanderbilt is off to its best start since 1941 after snapping a 5-game losing streak to Missouri. This makes them a near lock for a CFP spot. What do you think, KC?
I agree. I think their head-to-head loss with Alabama, if they can keep winning football games, and today was a prime example of that, right? When you look at the stats of this matchup versus Missouri, they didn't win in total yards, time of possession, third down, fourth down conversions, any of those key areas, but they were still able to win the game. This is a gritty, tough team. Clark Lee has made them inflappable, and Diego Pavia, his grittiness and toughness leads the way. And so I think if they finish out the right way, they'll be on the outside of the SEC championship, but they'll be a lock for the CFP playoff.
Which could be a blessing in disguise to not have to play that championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, who wants to, go have to play an extra game and put your livelihood at risk, potentially, sitting out and potentially losing and getting put out of the college football playoff. But I absolutely think they will get in. They control their own destiny. We watch them. They're a battle-tested team. And look at their schedule the rest of the way. Texas, Auburn, which is a gritty football team. Tennessee, it's going to be a tough game. They should beat UK soundly. This Diego Pavia-led football team is amazing. He gets it done. He's that +1 in the run game. He gets him in and out of a lot of trouble. And like we saw today, he was not even a real factor in this football game. It was their defense stepping up. Mm-hmm. They're a battle-tested team, and championship teams always find ways to win. They're showing a resemblance of that.
And that performance was against a top 10 defense in Missouri. So when you outplay other people's defense, that's the mark of a champion.
Good point. Meantime, Texas A&M went into Baton Rouge at night and dismantled an LSU team that needed a win in the worst way. So chat CFP. Will the Aggies be a top 4 team when the college football playoff rankings come out? Texas A&M is 8-0 after beating LSU and won't play again until November the 8th. So they get the bye coming up this week. This makes them a top 4 team in the CFP rankings without a doubt. You agree with that, Beanie?
Absolutely. I mean, they get the bye at the right time, too, because we all know down the stretch in the SEC, you're going to have a tough schedule that you have to deal with, especially after coming after a very tough football game that they faced versus LSU. I love Marcel Reed. Obviously, you have to get him to clean up some of the costly mistakes, the turnovers that he had, but this is a team that plays complementary football on both sides. They can run the ball very well. They got a two-headed monster in the backfield. They rush the passer like no other. So they are a deadly football team and a scary team down the stretch. Absolutely the number 4 team in the country.
Built right along the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball to match up with anybody in the country. And I'm talking about your Buckeyes. I'm talking about Michigan. Whoever you want to put up there and say that they're tough along the line of scrimmage, this team, Mike Elko's team, is built that way. Marcel Reed, his evolution coming into this season was a big question mark for me. But, man, he has erased all doubt with his performance. And, of course, man, their run game, Ruben Owens and Le'Veon Moss. I know you like those guys in the backfield going for 200 a game. This team is built right. And you know what? I give them credit because they won their games. So you can't even get past the first thing. Did you win your games? Yes. So they're a lock, man. They're in. Well
done. Well said. Kevin Carter, Beanie Wells. I'm Brent Stover. That is the Week 9 edition of Chat CFP.